Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Carmen Chloe of SingleMarriedWidow.com, and this is video 3 of my 5-part video series entitled Single Married Widow, where I detail how I became widow and I share with you all some of the transitions that me and my children went through immediately after us losing my late husband. So, in this video, the title of this video is My Life is Still Reading Like a Novel. So I share with you guys my husband passing away suddenly, me literally taking him to the hospital on a Saturday morning, on a Sunday morning, him literally being deceased. I share with you guys the whole funeral situation and how I, looking back on it, I would have done a cremation and just been done with it and kept the peace with a lot of people who I'm no longer connected to as a result of some things that went down. And then I also talked to you guys about the surprise that I had waiting for me the day after he passed away. And then just that huge transition dealing with that. So after going through all of that, and then being somewhat settled where I was at with my family who opened up their home to me, who was very kind to me and my children, who helped us to literally move from out of the apartment. I didn't want to rush back to Florida because I had business to take care of in Georgia. So I was very thankful to them for opening up my home to us. And I was really pondering like, okay, what now, God? This is such a huge transition, him passing away, and then all the things that we've been through in less than 30 days of him passing away. Like, what do I do now? Do I stay in Georgia? Do I run back to Florida, my safe place? Like, what do I want to do? And I did not want to go back to Florida. Like, mind you, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2005 as a single woman. Ended up meeting my husband in 2008. Had my first child in 2011 out of wedlock. 2012, we ended up getting married. So here I am in 2018. Well, now we had transitioned into the new year, 2019. And Atlanta had become home. I had been there since 2005. So literally going on 14 years of me living there. And the part of Florida that I'm from, like Miami, Florida, like I did not want to go back there. I was like, oh my God, like I love Miami because it raised me. But like I hate Miami. Like I can't go down there. I go down there and I feel certain things spiritually. I don't like Miami and I don't want to live down there. So I was not in a rush to get back. So I was thankful for my family opening up their home to me. And then they were in no rush for me and my children to leave. They were like, you don't have to leave. Like figure out your life. Nobody's rushing you to leave. You know, one of them did suggest like, okay, do you want to get a job? Because it's a job opening at this place. The girls can go to school here. You can get a job here. And I thought about it and I was like, it sounds good and I could totally do it because I've always, had a career. I've always worked a job with the exception of me not being able to teach and, going through the years from 2012 until, 2019 without working like a steady job. But I was always a go-getter, always like, okay, I'm going to get a career, I'm going to get a job. I didn't have a fear of working. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll just jump back into this. And then I was like, no, I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do because I have no time. I've had no time to process what I went through. And I don't want to jump back into a job. The girls going back to traditional school because they were in homeschool at the time. I was like, I don't want to jump back into the regular flow of life. And then I look up a year and a half, 2 years later, and I have some type of a breakdown or something because I didn't process something so traumatic that happened to me and my children. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to get the job and, put the girls back into school. It just felt like it was too soon. But then again, I didn't really want to move back to Florida. But I didn't want to overstay my welcome with family, even though they were like, there's no rush, Carmen. Figure it out. Figure out your life. But then, because those of you who have a relationship with the Lord, and those of you who know that you have been marked by the Lord, you know that even though sometimes you can be trying to figure things out, like God will allow things to take place to where you're literally pushed into your next move. And that's what happened to us We were at our family's house. We were comfortable. They weren't rushing us, and something happened. Not something at the house, but something happened in relation to someone who was connected to the house. And literally within 24 hours, we were packing up what we had at that house, and we were going to stay in a hotel because it was the safest thing for us to do at the time. Our family didn't kick us out. Nothing happened on our part. Nothing happened, at the actual house, but somebody connected to the house, like some things happened, and it was just in our best interest to leave immediately to be safe and to be covered. So that's what we did. And I literally, the next morning after, everything went down, literally packed up our stuff that we had there. We went and we stayed in a hotel. We stayed in a hotel for like 2 weeks because we had to leave. It was the safest thing for us to do. It was the responsible thing for me to do as a mother. So went and stayed in the hotel. And at that point, I called my brother because he had been asking me like, well, when are you coming? When are you coming to Florida? When are you coming back? Like, let me know so I can plan it. And I'm like, I don't know, because I don't really want to come. And And he's like, what are you staying in Georgia for? Like, there's nothing left there. And my brother, he can be brutal sometimes, brutal and like super insensitive. There's nothing left. Like, why are you trying to hold on? And So finally, we're in the hotel. I call my brother like, okay, just let me know when you can come, because at that time, God had blessed me with a stream of income to where I didn't have to work, but it was a steady stream of income coming in, and I was able to go and get a hotel. And the girls and I, we had like a staycation in Georgia for like 2 weeks until my brother and my cousin could come and help us to move between Florida and Georgia. I was not ready to go to Florida. However, as I said, something happened. And for me and my children's safety, it was best for us to just go. So I went, I got us a hotel, and I was like, okay, God, what now? We've been through so much. What now? I'm in a hotel with my 2 children. I got a bunch of my stuff in my trunk. It was a nice hotel. We was at a brand new Marriott, but still, like, okay, God, what next? So we just kind of, doing the staycation thing until my brother and my cousin were able to come and help us to move in between states. So that's another piece of my story. And again, like, my life right after my husband passed away, and even before he passed away, like, it was reading like a best-selling novel, literally. So in tomorrow's video, I'm going to be talking about how I began to feel like Abraham in the Bible, where God was literally telling him to pick up his tent and go. Like, I literally had begun to feel like Abraham in the Bible, but I'll share just my perspective and my story on that in tomorrow's video. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me as I release bits and pieces of my story that I didn't share with anyone. And I pray that it frees somebody. I pray that it gives another widow the courage to tell their story in the timing and the season that God releases them to do so. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.